send shots like Toma. Ryan Garcia, he's taking aim at Bud Crawford, who has a fight this weekend. I don't really know what caused it, but I'm here to talk about it in this video. Now, Ryan Garcia, he's been off the chain. Very outspoken, very, I guess you could say, controversial, and he's just almost saying anything's on his mind. Now he's taking shots at Terence Crawford, who's getting ready to fight Israel Madrimov this weekend. We're going to go through some of the tweets. Ryan Garcia says, Terence Crawford is a bum that hasn't fought anyone that good. He's calling him a bum. Like, y'all see that? It says Crawford is a bum and he hasn't fought anyone. Now, needless to say, Crawford's resume has been questioned. Even me, I've questioned the legitimacy of some of the names. But I mean, I'm not Ryan Garcia, so I'm not saying he's a bum. He said, I heard Crawford's fight is canceled. I don't know. That, to me, that just sounds like trolling. I haven't heard anything about it being canceled. He goes on to say, promoters and sponsors, you aren't making money on Crawford, just wasting it. Be smarter. So, again, a lot of conversations that the tickets aren't necessarily selling great. And at 36, going to be 37 next month, Ryan Garcia is saying that Crawford is losing promoters and sponsors money. Wow. He says, Crawford never speaks on real issues. He is a scared little girl. Uck Crawford. They have you as pound for pound, but you ain't stand for ish, says Ryan Garcia. Didn't Gamboa, this man is off the hook. I don't know why. Like, I don't know if he's just picking trending topics and they just going after him. I don't know. But he said, didn't Gamboa hurt Crawford? He is a bum. So I don't know if he's saying Gamboa's a bum or Crawford's a bum. But it says, didn't Gamboa hurt Crawford? He is a bum. Stop overhyping a bum that fought a damaged Errol Spence. Now, listen. When your boy Ego has questions, y'all get mad, right? And there's a lot more people. I told you, I gave Crawford credit for beating Errol Spence. I actually picked Errol Spence. That was the only time I picked against Terence Crawford. And with that being said, to me, I don't know if the accident forever changed Errol Spence, but something looked up in that particular fight. And it's not even just, to me, it didn't look like just a separation of skills, because we've seen that. We've seen that where a person will fight a guy and it's just a different level of skills and they get their butt whipped. But Errol Spence, something looked up to me. I don't know what. I don't know if anyone, maybe after he retires, we'll get the true story. But I mean, what Ryan Garcia is saying, he's saying he fought a damaged Errol Spence. At the end of the day, there's a lot of people that believe that Errol Spence possibly is not the same since the accident, and or, you know, at the end of the day, something was up with him. And I'm still going to believe that. The way he was looking before Crawford, see, and this is the thing. People keep talking about like what Crawford did. It was great. It was dope. But Crawford had tougher fights with, in my opinion, lesser people than Errol Spence. And that's the way the cookie crumbles. On a given night, you got to show up. Errol Spence had a bad night in the office. It is what it is. But even before he got hit with this first punch, it looked like he was off. People were saying he looked high. He looked loaded. He was walking out. He looked kind of like worried, like uncertain, if you will. So it is what it is. He says he is a bum and I'm tired of y'all hyping this bum up. So again, he keeps calling Crawford a bum. He says Crawford is a goof. Again, nonstop Crawford disses. So It says so many better things to do on a Saturday than to watch burnt ad Crawford fight, bum ad, boring and he can't sell. Let's all watch UFC or something. This fight. So Ryan is actively petitioning to have people, I don't want to say boycott, but just avoid Crawford's fight. I mean, I'm still going to watch it. I don't care what Ryan's talking about. It says, heard they struggling to sell them tickets. You overpaid, Terence Crawford. You know it. Don't gas yourself up. I will destroy you. This man, Ryan, is crazy. This man is crazy. I don't even know what y'all want me to do. What you want me to do? I'm sorry. Like, I don't even, just reading this is just insanity at this point. Listen, I'm going to read it again. Heard they are struggling to sell them tickets. You overpaid, Crawford, Terence Crawford. You know it. Don't gas yourself up. I will destroy you. Two most burnt people in boxing are Eddie Hearn and Terence Crawford. Crawford is a bum. I mean, I told you he's going off the rails. Terence Crawford is a bum that hasn't fought anyone good. Crawford is lucky I can't beat his because I'm banned. I mean, look, he's sending shots. These are all shots. We just going through. I don't know. Some of it, listen, fair play. As always, I give you guys my honest takes when it comes to this boxing joint. And some of what Ryan Garcia is saying, it sounds like just trolling, point blank, period. Saying that his fight is canceled. I ain't heard that. I ain't heard nobody say the fight's canceled. They're doing press conferences and media day workouts. Where did you get that? So that right there just looks like Ryan Garcia saying stuff. Now, as far as some of the other things, listen, people get mad because Ryan Garcia said a lot of foolishness, but every dog has his day. A broke clock is right 2 times a day. I think there is some validity to what Terence Crawford insults that he is saying. Now, I'm not like saying Crawford's a bum and I'll destroy you and all that. Ryan's on his own because, listen, I would love to see Crawford versus Ryan Garcia, but I think Ryan Garcia, he's barking up the wrong tree in that regard. I mean, Ryan Garcia, it's like he wants to spam the left hook, and he's so confident with his size and that left hook. Like, he believes he can clip anybody with that left hook. I mean, he does have a good left hook. Roy Jones even said that his left hook remind him of himself in his prime. I mean, that's coming from Roy Jones, but I don't know. I mean, listen, there are questions about Crawford's chin. People are like, oh, he's suspect. His chin is suspect, yada, yada, yada. But it's also not getting hit with foolish shots. Boxing, it's a sweet science. So it's not just, can you take a shot and how great is your chin? Because in that department, I don't know that Crawford has a granite chin. Like, I wouldn't say he has a Triple G chin or Canelo Hagler type of chin, Floyd Mayweather type of chin, because we've seen him hurt and we've seen him drop. We've seen him, buckle and stuff like that. And he has kind of limited competition. However, it's about you having the skill set to land those important shots that would even create a knockdown or a knockout or whatever. And guys haven't been able to do that. So as far as Ryan, it would be a big fight. And I would just see it just because it's a freak show fight and Ryan's talking crazy. So that would be a huge fight, Ryan Garcia and Terence Crawford. Will it happen? Probably not. I mean, I don't know. Ryan's banned for a year, and he's talking. He's called out Errol Spence. He's calling out MMA fighters. Now he's turned his sights on Terence Crawford. I don't know. He's beefing with everybody. But I digress. I will say there is some validity to some of what he's saying. All the over-the-top stuff, I don't know about that. Like him beating and destroying Crawford, him saying Crawford's a bum. I don't agree to any of that. But there are questions about Crawford's resume and what he said about Errol Spence. He was like, yeah, Errol Spence was damaged and he wasn't the same. I truly think something was up. And Errol Spence, I mean, just look, he hasn't even been back since the Crawford fight, right? They were talking about the Fundora fight, then they said they're switching the dates. So I don't know. I don't know what Errol Spence's situation is, but he definitely looked off in the Crawford fight. And to me, it didn't look like it was just because of Terence Crawford. But the other thing that Ryan was saying that looks to be true is he's saying you're losing money on Crawford. Crawford can't sell. I heard the tickets ain't selling. I've already made videos about it. You could believe me or you can believe whoever you want. My information, my intel, my sources say the tickets haven't been selling like hotcakes. It just hasn't been a hot ticket, which is surprising because everybody, at least online, and see, this is why I try to tell you guys, people want to go to boxing Twitter and X and look at the comments and try to get some semblance of a real pulse of how boxing fans feel, and it's cap. Like, for example, people on boxing Twitter would be like, oh, Boxing Ego, he's the worst channel, he sucks and stuff like that. But we keep doing new viewership. I'm making a full-time living for the last decade plus. I can't be that bad. Somebody's watching. The lights is not being cut off. So, you know, you got to make it make sense. So you got to be cautious and careful about what you read and what you hear. They say a lot on boxing Twitter about Boxing Ego or in the YouTube comment section, but none of the people are saying it are doing better than Boxing Ego, you know? So it really is what it is. But that's the same thing is like, you can't try to get a realistic pulse because people online, they're like, oh, this is the greatest card ever. And then a lot of people are saying that they don't pitch in and pay for these fights. Me, I support great fights. I support great cards, right? It's always been that way. But you got a lot of people who seem to be the most vocal and they'll be like, oh, this is the best card. PBC has never put out a card like this. And then they won't even support it. So it's not, I think the promoters and the organizers of this Crawford Madrimov, they made some crucial mistakes. They made a mistake putting Crawford as the main event. They made a mistake by having him headline in LA. You put him in the West Coast, like Crawford is not he's from the Midwest. Is that like the whole time he was with Top Rank, how many times did he fight in California? You see what I'm saying? So it's like, where did you guys even get this to put this in LA? I never understood that. Not Vegas where he's fought, because I've been covered his fights like Victor Postal and Jeff Horn. Those were both Vegas fights. Not in Omaha, you know, or even New York where he fought Amir Khan and things like that. You're putting him in LA. Like, where did that even come from? And I think they overshot it. They thought we're just going to load up and give him this all-star cast for an undercard, and that's going to sell it. But something doesn't seem to be resonating. Maybe Crawford being top build, because I think if you put Pitbull Cruz, and I've said this, if you put Pitbull Cruz and Rayo and you led with that fight, maybe this card would do better, especially in LA. You know, you got a lot of black and brown in LA, and I think Pitbull Cruz is, especially after the Tank fight, he's rapidly becoming a fan favorite. I love watching Pitbull Cruz. And Crawford has a great style. He's fun to watch too. However, something's not clicking. He hasn't resonated. His personality, his mic skills, I don't know, pause. But it's also his opponent. His opponent got 10 fights. People aren't familiar with the brand. You know, it's just, I think it's a multiple choice. You can blame a couple different things. It's a multitude of things, if you will, and it is what it is. So Ryan is cooking with some of what he's saying, like the tickets ain't selling. I'm telling you guys. And they just did a show on Wednesday. They probably gave out tickets at that Wednesday show. That's probably precisely why they did it. Or at best, they heavily discounted the tickets at that Wednesday show to try to get people to come for the Saturday show. And my thing is this: if what Boxing Ego is saying and Ryan Garcia is saying ain't true, then explain this. How do you have such a loaded card? They like literally gave you probably the best card Crawford has ever had, and it's still not selling? It's very questionable. That's in terms of star power. It's not even questionable. It answers questions. Your star power is just not non-existent. It's not there, because again, I'm gonna keep saying the same thing. If you gave Canelo this undercard, or Gervonta Davis, Tank Davis this undercard, or even Errol Spence, I truly, or even maybe like a Keith Thurman, if you put like Keith Thurman, Stanionis, Keith Thurman, Tim Tszyu, if you gave this to these other heavily branded, like known people, I think the buzz would be bigger, period. So I don't know exactly what Crawford is doing and what's not connecting, nor is it my problem. So I don't really care, because, it's not my job. I don't get paid to assess, why the market is rejecting the main event. You know what I mean? Pay me. If you want me to help you, I can definitely offer my services, but it's going to require some payment. So Ryan is saying some things that are probably misses, but he's also saying some things that look to be true, like Terence Crawford and the ticket sales. Now, as far as them fighting and stuff, make the fight. Like I said, it would be a big fight, but first Crawford got to get past Madrimov. Let me know what you guys think.